welcome to the module on corporate social responsibility. I am Dr. Poonam Singh, Assistant Professor at the School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad, your instructor for this module. After the completion of this session, you will be able to understand the concept of corporate social responsibility, discuss the evolution of CSR, understand the various models of CSR, explain the potential benefits of implementing CSR in organizations. Organizations are part of the society. They draw resources from the society. It is also their duty to give back to the society, as there is an inevitable link between a healthy society and a healthy organization. CSR, thus in simple words, is about giving back to the society but with responsibility. CSR is an emerging area. It is highly researched as well as debated. The module on CSR is thus designed to give a holistic view of the concept. Objectives of this module is to help understand the importance, evolution and the changing approach to CSR in the Indian context. So let's start the discussion with the definition of CSR. European Union gives the most comprehensive and widely cited definition of CSR and describes CSR as a concept whereby companies integrate social and environmental concerns in their business operations and in their interaction with their stakeholders on a voluntary basis. This definition emphasizes on integrating environmental and social concern with business operation. It also highlights about taking care of stakeholder concerns and the voluntary nature of CSR. The other definition which I would like to share is the definition given by the World Council for Sustainable Business, which defines CSR as business commitment to contribute to sustainable economic development, working with employees, their families, the local community and society at large to improve their quality of life. The Business Council for Sustainable Development views CSR as the business contribution to sustainable economic development. CSR typically includes beyond law commitments and practices pertaining to corporate governance and ethics, health and safety, environmental stewardship, human rights including core labor rights, sustainable development, conditions of work including safety and health, hours of work, wages. It also includes industrial relations, community involvement, development and investment, involvement of and respect for diverse cultures and disadvantaged peoples, corporate philanthropy and employee volunteering, customer satisfaction and adherence to principles of fair competition, anti-bribery and anti-corruption measures, accountability, transparency and performance reporting, and supplier relations for both domestic and international supply chains. Now let's discuss the concept of CSR as mentioned by the Social, Environment and Economic Responsibilities of Business, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, July 2011. According to this definition, it urges businesses to embrace the triple bottom line approach whereby its financial performance can be harmonized with the expectations of society, the environment and the many stakeholders it interfaces with in a sustainable manner. So if we analyze the three definitions that we have just studied, we can say that CSR promotes an integration of environmental and social concerns with business objectives. The definitions also emphasizes on stakeholder concerns and sustainability. Here it is also important to mention that even though CSR as a concept is voluntary in nature, we in India have chosen to mandate CSR. We'll be discussing Section 135 of the Companies Act of 2013 as part of this module later. It is also important to mention further that CSR should not be confused with charity. It is neither a one-time activity. CSR, in fact, should be viewed as a strategic tool. It needs a long-term approach and has to be linked to the long-term objectives of an organization. After an elaborate discussion on the concept of CSR, let's discuss the evolution and various models of CSR. A survey conducted by Tata Energy Research Institute, TERI, in 2001 on the state of CSR in India, the evolution of CSR in India has followed a chronological evolution of 4 thinking approaches. The 4 approaches include the ethical model, the statist model, liberal model, and the stakeholder model. Let's discuss this one by one. The ethical model between 1930 to 1950, it is the promotion of trusteeship as advocated by Mahatma Gandhi. Under this notion, the businesses were motivated to manage their business entities as a trust held in the interest of the community. This approach is about voluntary commitment by organizations to public welfare. Efforts of Tata Group towards the well-being of the society is one such practice. The statist model between 1950 to 1970s under the aegis of Jawaharlal Nehru, this model came into being in the post-independent era. The important feature of this model was that the state ownership and legal requirements decided the corporate responsibilities. The next model is the liberal model between 1970s to 1990s. The model was encapsulated by Milton Friedman. This implies that it is sufficient for businesses to obey the law and generate wealth, which through taxation and private charitable choices can be directed to social ends. Corporate responsibilities limited to private ownership, that is, shareholders. According to Milton Friedman, the social responsibility of business is to increase its profit. He was also of the opinion that the businesses of business is to maximize profits, to earn a good return on capital invested, and to be a good corporate citizen obeying the law, no more, no less. The last set of model is the stakeholder model. The model came into existence during 1990s as a consequence of realization that with growing economic profits, businesses also have certain societal roles to fulfill. The model expects company to perform according to the triple bottom line approach. Organizations respond to the needs of the stakeholders, which includes customers, creditors, employees, and communities, etc. This concept was given by R. Edward Freeman. Before we proceed further, I feel that we should spend some time to understand the concept of stakeholder and triple bottom line approaches, as it has redefined the way we approach businesses and social responsibility. So what is a stakeholder approach? A stakeholder concept, as earlier detailed by Edward Freeman in 1984, must be distinguished from a stockholder concept or a shareholder concept. Edward Freeman in 1984 stated that a stakeholder in an organization is a group or individual who can affect or is affected by the achievement of the organization's objective. Groups, individuals, institutions who can substantially be affected by the company are stakeholders. Thus, a stakeholder holds a stake rather than just a share. Shareholders, employees, customers, creditors, suppliers, community, government, society, and environment are stakeholders. Edward Freeman in 2004 further stated that stakeholders are groups who are vital for the survival and success of any corporation. All stakeholders contribute to long-term value addition of a company. Moving on, let's discuss the triple bottom line approach. John Elkington first introduced the concept of triple bottom line to emphasize that a company's performance is best measured by the economic, social, and environmental impact of its activities. The concept of TBL has gained significance and popularity amongst corporates. Coined in 1995, this theory focuses on sustainability. TBL is also described by 3 P's: people, planet, and profit, also made up of social equity, economic, and environmental aspect. People pertains to fair and beneficial business practices toward labor and the community and region in which a corporation conducts its business. Planet refers to sustainable environmental practices. Profit is the bottom line shared by all enterprises. Another very important model which has contributed in the evolution of CSR immensely is the model given by Carroll's. It is popularly known as Carroll's Pyramid of CSR. According to Carroll, corporate social responsibility encompasses the economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary, that is philanthropic expectations that society has of organizations at a given point in time. Corporations not only have to fulfill economic and legal responsibilities but also satisfy social expectations. Social responsibility is a multi-layered concept having 4 main aspects. At the bottom of the pyramid is the economic responsibility, which is something that Carroll mentions is required by the society. Fundamentally, a firm's economic responsibility is to produce an acceptable return on its owner's investment. Therefore, economic responsibility is a baseline requirement that must be met in a competitive business world. The next is the legal responsibility, again required by the society, a duty to act within the legal framework drawn by the government and judiciary, complying with various federal, state, and local regulations and conducting as law-abiding corporate citizens. Taking one step further is the ethical responsibilities, something that is expected by the society. A firm has an ethical responsibility to do no harm to its stakeholders and within its operating environment. It means being good corporate citizens by doing what is expected morally or ethically. According to Carroll, ethical responsibility is recognizing that business integrity and ethics behavior go beyond mere compliances with laws and regulations. Finally, the philanthropic responsibility, which is desired by the society, is being a good corporate citizen. The philanthropic responsibility is more discretionary or voluntary on business part. Hence, this category is often thought of as good corporate citizenship. Discretionary responsibility, which represents more proactive, strategic behavior that can benefit the firm and society or both. Social responsibility of businesses thus require meeting all 4 levels consecutively. After discussing the various approaches and models, let's now understand the benefits of CSR. CSR is one concept that makes win-win-win for all. CSR, as mentioned earlier, is distinct from charity, sponsorship, or philanthropy, as the concept of CSR would directly enhance the reputation of a company and strengthen its brand and beyond. So let's discuss the benefits of CSR one by one. First, better anticipation and management of an increasing range of risk. Effectively managing governance, legal, social, environmental, economic, and other risks in an increasingly complex market environment with a greater oversight and stakeholder scrutiny of corporate activities can improve the security of supply and overall market stability. Considering the interests of parties concerned about a firm's impact is one way of better anticipating and managing risk. The second is social license to operate. Companies engaged in CSR activities get a social approval to operate by winning the confidence of societies, making them more sustainable. As a result, they can easily manage social risk which may emerge as an offshoot of their operational activities. CSR helps in stronger relations within communities through stakeholder engagement. The way a company collaborates with its stakeholders increases their license to operate. The third is improved reputation and branding. Organizations that perform well with regard to CSR can build their reputation, while those that perform poorly can damage brand and company value when exposed. It also increases an organization's goodwill. CSR helps in enhancing the image of a company, which helps in the long-term strategy. It allows the company to earn a reputation in different circles and also the positive image of the top management. Enhanced ability to recruit, develop and retain staff. This can be the direct result of pride in the company's products and practices. It can also be the indirect result of programs and activities that improve employee morale and loyalty. Companies that employ CSR related perspectives and tools tend to attract and maintain a happy workforce who show increased loyalty and commitment. The next benefit is improved innovation, competitiveness, and market positioning. CSR is as such about seizing opportunities as avoiding risk. Drawing feedback from diverse stakeholders can be a rich source of ideas for new products, processes, and markets, resulting in competitive advantages. The next advantage is enhanced operational efficiencies and cost savings. These flow, in particular, from improved efficiencies identified through a systematic approach to management that includes continuous improvement. For example, assessing the environmental and energy aspect of an operation can reveal opportunities for turning waste streams into revenue streams. For example, wood chips into particle boards, and for system-wide reduction in energy use and costs. The next is improved ability to build effective and efficient supply chain relationships. Larger firms can stimulate smaller firms with whom they do business to implement a CSR approach. For example, some large apparel retailers require their suppliers to comply with worker codes and standards. The next is better access to capital. Financial institutions are increasingly incorporating social and environmental criteria into their assessment of projects. When making decisions about where to place their money, investors are looking for indicators of effective CSR implementation. The next is improved relations with regulators. Improved relations with regulators. In some countries, government use CSR indicators in deciding on procurement or export assistance contracts. This is being done because governments recognize that without an increase in business sector engagement, government sustainability goals cannot be reached. Increased sales and customer loyalty. A number of studies have suggested a large and growing market for the products and services of companies perceived to be socially responsible. Studies also show a growing desire to buy based on other value-based criteria such as sweatshop-free and child labor-free clothing, products with smaller environmental impact and the absence of genetically modified materials or ingredients. So these are the benefits of implementing CSR in any organization. With this, we come to the end of this session on Introduction to CSR, wherein we discuss the concept of CSR, approaches and models of CSR, and the various benefits a company can incur by implementing CSR in the right spirit. In the upcoming session, we'll discuss on the current scenario of CSR in India, look at CSR as a strategic tool, and also discuss some best practices in CSR. So see you in the next session. Thank you and happy learning.